Welcome to Real Talk Christian Podcast, where we drink coffee and have real conversations on faith, culture, and society. This is Marc, Hyde.
And Chris Fuller.
And today we're going to be talking about not can Christians boogie like dance.
Or like a boogie from your nose.
No, but can Christians be bougie? We've been hinting at this episode a lot, but how bougie is too bougie and it's a BI for a Christian? Oh, you ready to have this conversation?
I'm ready to get down and boogie.
Let's
go. You know I had to do
You've
it.
been waiting for that joke. I tried to steal your joke before. But you're typing in the notes, you're like, what do you mean can Christians boogie? I'm like, no, bougie.
You first text me and I'm like,
It's bougie.
can Christians be boogie? Oh, he means bougie.
Well, I was listening to a
gotcha,
podcast, you know, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about on the podcast of like, I'll just say it's oh goodness, smart money happy hour thing. It's part of the Dave Ramsey thing. And they're talking about like, just what is bougie and things you spend money on that you don't really spend money on. Are you bougie in this way? And I'm like, I wonder if can a Christian be bougie? That'd be kind of a fun conversation for us to talk about. So today we're going to talk about can Christians be bougie? We're going to have all these different fun things because here's the deal. We've had a lot of serious episodes, good conversations, good Christian things. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long.
4 minutes long.
But so we're going to have fun on today's episode. We're going to take a bougie quiz. See how bougie we are, Fuller. We're going to talk about what being bougie means, and we're going to see what does the Bible say about being bougie. So we're going to have a whole lot of fun with this episode,
I'm
man.
very uncomfortable with this word bougie.
I love it, man. Especially since like Trey, you know Trey Kennedy, the comedian, right?
No.
You know what Trey Kennedy is?
No.
Friends, RTC, y'all know who Trey Kennedy is. He does the fall. He does Girls in the Fall.
No.
Be like hallelujah.
No. Don't know.
I don't know. Trey Kennedy just busted out his girls, like white girls in the fall, be like, and they're all super bougie. So I think it's just gonna be fun.
I think we need to
Talk
dive
about
into.
bougie.
Let's dive into the quiz.
Do the
'cause it
quiz
looks
before.
fun.
Do the quiz before we do the other random questions.
Yeah, let's do the quiz first.
Let's do the quiz. Okay, so
right, here we go.
there's a quiz from howstuffworks.com, and the quiz is called "How Bougie Are You?" All right, so is your screen loaded?
Start the quiz. It says.
Start the quiz. Okay.
What kind of water are you most likely to drink? Sparkling all the way. Flavored is nice sometimes. Filtered usually tastes best. I'm fine with tap water. Really, honestly, all these are good.
I know, but which one are you like? If someone says like,
most
"Yo, what's
likely
up?"
to drink.
Most likely to drink. I'm gonna say flavored is nice sometimes because I drink a lot of flavored water.
I do too. All right.
I thought you were gonna do sparkly, man. I thought you were just gonna do some bubbly.
No. All right. No cap. I don't even know what that means, but okay.
You don't know what no cap
How
means?
much would you
Oh,
spend
man.
on a pair of shoes?
gonna love this
No
episode.
lie. Is that what it means? No lie. No cap.
No cap. Like yeah, like
All right.
real talk. It's like I say,
All right.
real talk. How much
All right.
would you spend on a pair
price
of shoes?
doesn't matter. No more than 200. No more than 100. OMG, even $50 seems like a lot. I'm going with that one.
I knew you were gonna say that. I'm
cheap.
doing no more than 100.
I'll
spend $100 on a nice. I mean, most of my shoes are normally like 60.
Dude, I spent $50 on the shoes and then $50 in gas.
That's true.
All right, what's the next one? Do you care about the brands you wear? Of course, doesn't everyone?
No. Of course.
Of course, doesn't
course.
everyone? Yeah.
I hope you guys are enjoying this quiz with us.
For some things I do. Generally speaking, not really.
You probably shouldn't read the next one. I don't care.
IDGAF. I don't know what that means.
Do you want to know what it means?
Oh, I get it now. I get it now.
Yeah, this is.
Well,
you probably shouldn't read that one.
I'm gonna go with.
You're gonna
that
go with
one
that one
because I really look at me, bro, all the time.
You're wearing Notre Dame.
I'm still wearing work pants, so with the Notre Dame.
I'm
shirt.
wearing Adidas pants with Adidas socks with Adidas shoes. So for some things I do.
No, you're gonna put, of course, everyone.
No, because there's
That's
things there's something I don't care about, but for some things I really care about. Neighbor, like certain foods, will you buy? Like if there's like, will you buy certain things that are off brand if you prefer the name brand taste of things?
I buy whatever's cheapest, bro.
Well, see, there's certain things where I'm like, nah.
All right,
gotta get name brand for that.
Could your BFF talk you into a camping trip?
Oh, come on, man.
Wait, let me read it. Only if it's glamping. Maybe, but I don't do tents. Sure, for a night or two, and I'm going to go with this one. Definitely.
So could your BFF talk into a camping trip?
yeah.
I would say, yeah, sure, for a night or two. That's exactly how I would say it. That's exactly how I would say it.
Give me a kayak and,
right.
and just my
Next one.
backpack down a river and for months.
This question is for me and Ryan Laux because we joke all the time as freelancers of how many days in a row have you worn the same pair of clothes?
Would you ever repeat an outfit in the same week? TBH, to be honest, I'd rather die. If I knew for sure no one would know, if I had to, lol, laugh out loud, I do that one on the reg.
Would you ever repeat an outfit? You'd rather die, only if no one knows, or if you had to, or, yo, I do that all the time, G.
Bro,
all the time.
Bro, I wear an orange shirt and blue pants every day, Monday through Friday.
Okay, no, actually, I'm going to pause because I will make sure I don't wear like the same shirt to church minimum within the same 3 weeks.
Oh, I do all the time.
No.
I do all the time.
I'm going to do, so repeat the outfit.
Yeah.
If I'm doing the outfit, I would say,
look,
no one would know. I'm going to go a little bougie on that one.
Listen, if it looks good, it looks good.
I work from home, so sometimes I wear the same clothes like 2 days in a row. Sometimes 3 days in a row. But if I'm going out,
change the underwear, and that's all that matters.
I'll wear the same jeans because that's different. But like shirt, I will. No, I if I knew no one would know, I wouldn't.
Speaking of jeans, I had mine rip on Sunday,
like
right down the by the pocket on the butt, and I don't know how long I was walking around with it like that. It was awesome. I went to like Thistleberry, like the pumpkin patch, and then we went to like Kohl's afterwards and like all sorts of stuff.
Kohl's workers probably thought that you were going to buy a new pair of pants.
And we didn't. We bought stuff for the kids for Christmas, but yeah. So anyways, have you ever attended a private school? Duh. And it was lit.
It was lit. Our private schools were different than like prep colleges.
No, but I wish I had. Schools. Yes, but I didn't really like it. Nope. And I'm glad I didn't. Well, I was homeschooled and I went to a private school. So I'm going to go yes, but I didn't really like it.
I enjoyed my private school experience, but we didn't go to like the really fancy like Stanley Clark.
Duh, it was lit.
Because I enjoyed going to a private school. But our private school,
oh no, I just clicked out of it. Hang on.
Fuller. Do you have to redo all your answers?
You keep talking and I'm gonna click through my answers here.
Next one is no cap. Has anyone ever called you bougie?
No.
No cap. It says all the time. Has anyone ever called you bougie? All the time. Only as a joke, I think. Never to my face. That would be the day. Are you catching back up?
Hang on, I'm almost there.
Don't close it out again. Next question.
All right.
Has anyone ever called you bougie? All the time, only as a joke, never to my face, or that would be the day?
That will be the day.
That would be the day. I drive a 15-passenger van, guys.
Bro, you're bougie. I say that.
I'm not bougie. I got a butt ton of kids.
I tell you, you're bougie all the time.
Well, yeah, but that's different.
So you can't lie on the test.
It's not.
I do all the time.
People in real life don't call me bougie.
Has anyone ever called you bougie? Yes, I do on the reg, dog. For real, it's dope, G. It's fire, bro.
This quiz was not meant for you. All right, next one.
Wait, you can't lie. Go back and change your answer.
No, because people in real life don't call me bougie.
Only as a joke, I think. You got to at least put that one. Because
okay, that's probably our DC listeners, no cap, know what's up.
He said
that's actually part of my
no
label.
Cap.
All right, next one is.
All right, let me read it. Bay. That's all I wanted to read. Bay. You people are so silly.
Bay, your boy or your girl's got something special planned. What's your ideal date night? Dinner at a trendy restaurant, movie at the cinema, picnic in the park, or Netflix at home?
Well,
they pick an ideal day. Is it movie? Is it a picnic? Is it dinner? Or is it Netflix?
I'm movie at a cinema because that's what Janelle and I did all the time when we were dating because of me. That's what I wanted to do. Dinner at a trendy restaurant.
Dinner at a trendy restaurant.
I want to go and get the flaming bong.
Dude, we went to Texas Roadhouse, and I'm like, oh, crap. Maybe I am bougie.
You're bougie, bro. I'm telling you.
We went to Texas Roadhouse.
Wait. Yeah, I'm wearing Adidas pants, Adidas socks, and Adidas shoes. Bougie. Oh, I do trendy restaurant. Bougie. But maybe only a day or two bougie.
Crap.
You're bougie, bro.
Crap. But
you know what? No cap, man.
Come on, man. But so we went to Texas Roadhouse, and we got like my mom, Joe, Amanda, John, and like me and my mom, we shared a Bloomin' Onion because we love those. And I'm like, you know what? Your boy's going to treat himself. I got a New York strip. Worst tasting steak I've ever had in my life. It was awful.
Because it wasn't Ruth's Chris, bro.
I've never been to Ruth's Chris.
I haven't either.
But yeah, I would do dinner at a trendy restaurant. That'd be a lot of fun.
Have you ever done it for the gram? Every day of my life, that's you. Yes, and with some regularity, that's also you. Yes, but I'm not proud of it. That's me. And what does that even mean? I know what a gram is.
No, but what does that mean by do it for the gram? What does that sentence mean? Do it for the gram.
Like the tortilla challenge for the gram, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I've done it for the gram.
It's an OG do it for the vine.
Yeah. So I'm going to say yes, but I'm definitely not proud of it. No.
No,
Bro,
I don't do it
bro,
every day. I don't
bro,
do it for the gram every day.
look,
because I don't like doing stupid things that are going to embarrass me in public.
Ask the community group.
Yeah, but I got a persona. I got
Ask
a
the
bougie
group.
persona with this one.
Ask the group.
No, for some regularity. No.
You cheating.
All right,
You
how many
cheating 'cause
more questions
you
do we
don't want to
have?
be bougie, so you cheating.
How many more questions do we have? You have
I
no
love this
plans
game.
to speak of. How are you going to spend your? I'm moving on because I'm
I'm
feeling a
chilling.
little.
I'm chilling at home.
I'm feeling a little.
Picked on?
No.
Bougie? Bougie?
I'm feeling a little. What's the word I'm looking for? What happened when the Holy Spirit worked on your life and you're like, oh shoot.
Convicted.
Yeah, that thing.
All
Okay,
right.
you have no plans to speak of.
I'm so glad you brought this quiz in here.
How are you going to spend your day? Are you going to spend it shopping for all the things, brunch with your BFFs, running an errand, or just chilling at home?
All right, kids or no kids? Because if it's kids, most of the time we're probably running errands, to be honest with you.
No, you're just chilling.
But if we ain't got no plans,
No, you got
nothing,
nothing.
I'm chilling at home, bro.
I'm running errands, to be honest with you. I want to be out. I want to be out.
Nope, I don't.
You know
I'm a
when Beth,
homebody.
Took her weekend with her sister, I coffee shop hopped. It was the best morning ever.
All right, I'm reading this one. Would you ever shop at a thrift store? Ew, gross.
Gross.
I just hear like the
gross,
total,
bro. That's
the
gross,
total
bro.
early 2000s teenage girl. Ew.
Dude. No. So we went on like this like kayak tour up in Traverse City, and the dude legit sounded like he was like Crush's son from Finding Nemo, like yeah, bruh. And we're like, and
bruh.
when he's like, interested,
Let's
like
go
yeah,
get
dude,
some
he's
salt.
he's talking like he's a bro, like he's a bro. And I'm like, what is happening? And then like halfway through the trip, I'm like, no, he legit is a bro. Like this is how he talks. He talks like one of those guys. But all right, so would you ever go to a shop at a thrift store? Ew, gross.
gross.
Only if it's genuine vintage, which is true. Sure, that would be fun. Or I always shop at thrift stores. Nope, I think they're gross. I have a whole sermon about it.
I think I'm okay. So when Janelle and I were dating, every Saturday, 50% off day at Goodwill, I'd be there. I always shopped at there, 50% off day. So it's like in between these two. I'm gonna go with the always.
I would say antiquing, that's genuine vintage. Antiquing is different than going to like a Goodwill.
I am going always shop at the thrift stores.
No, this ain't no Nicole Howell who lives at Goodwill. No,
I'm doing it.
Gross.
That's where I'm at.
I can't stand the smell.
Of the following, what do you spend the most money on? Clothes, food, activities? I prefer to save my money.
Is this including my kids? Because I have a butt ton of it.
That's my thing, right? So if it was just me, it'd probably just be food. Yeah. If it was just me and Janelle. Food.
Man, there's more questions? How often do you order Uber Eats? It's too expensive.
I don't even know what that is.
No, it's like you put in, it's Instacart for like
I don't
DoorDash.
I've done DoorDash one time, but it was when I was in the cane and with my heart problem.
I think the only time I've ever done it was, Beth and my wedding night, and we're just like, let's just get food in.
All right. We want to buy you a present. Which of the following is on your wish list? Gucci belt, latest iPhone, Nike tennis shoes. There's no need to get me a present. I'm going to go with the iPhone. Seriously. I'd
buy you a present. I would be like, no, you don't give me nothing.
Well, no. You don't understand. They're buying you a present. What do you want?
I mean, I think I had to say the latest iPhone because I have the latest iPhone.
Yeah, because there ain't no way you say no. Don't give me a present.
I mean, I'd enjoy a nice pair of Nikes,
honesty,
though.
bro. This is real
I'd
talk.
enjoy me a nice pair of Nikes, but I'm also an Adidas guy, so nope. Okay.
Which of these celebrities would you most likely like to trade lives with? Kylie Jenner?
No.
Ariana Grande?
No. Them high notes.
Chris Pratt?
Fat Pratt, baby.
I actually like my life just fine. Thanks. I'm going with that one.
I like my life too, but there's something exciting about.
I mean, trust me, I'd want to be an actor, but nah.
I really love my wife.
That's my thing, right?
Life, Beth. I love my life, but I'm putting Chris Pratt, but I love you. All right.
You're in no more.
Do you
meatloaf.
ever leave the house with makeup on?
You're no longer getting meatloaf for the rest of the year.
Why we gotta be gender specific? Why we gotta be gender specific on this quiz?
Do you ever leave the house without makeup on?
Okay, how about this? Do you ever
easy.
No, do you
Easy.
ever leave the house? Like I won't leave the house if my hair's not done, or else I will put a hat on. Or like I'll rinse my hair out and then do it.
Dude.
Bro, you shaved your head in moral support for Soche, man.
Bro, I'm leaving the house.
If I'm talking about like getting fully ready, I mean
sometimes
I don't know how I answer this.
Wait, I just want to answer while you're thinking about it. So it says, no, I would never. No, not usually if I can help it. Sometimes if I'm having a good skin day.
Or I leave it without.
Or I leave it without.
I'm going to say not usually if I can help it. That would be my problem, my default answer.
All right.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. If we gave you the keys to one of these cars, which one would it be? The Mercedes-Benz Maybach, the Land Rover, Range Rover, Jeep Wrangler, or I'll take whatever as long as it's free. 1, 2, 3, Mercedes.
Jeep Wrangler.
I knew you were going to say Wrangler. Beth wants a Range Rover, though, and girls married the wrong man for that.
Yeah.
Let's keep going, because this quiz is taking forever. Oh, my goodness.
I told you 4 minutes, and we're already at 15 and a
We should have
half.
stopped an hour ago.
All right, you stop into Starbucks for a pick-me-up. What do you order?
Oh, am I staying a while? Oh, no. Am I? We're leaving, right? We're bouncing. Okay, it's the unicorn frap, a lot of sugar, pumpkin spice latte, a cold brew, or some black coffee. First off, if you're going to Starbucks to go in and go out for black coffee, that's gross. Don't do that.
I'm going to get better black coffee at home.
I'm doing cold brew. I like the cold brew. The sweet cream.
There's not really a whole lot here.
Man.
There's not a whole lot here, so I'm going to go with the pumpkin spice. But if there was like a caramel frappuccino, listen, if there was a caramel frappuccino on here, that and the white chocolate mocha.
White chocolate mocha is your hit.
Those are my go-tos.
But you know how many times you would show up late to small group, be like, "Sorry guys, better get pumpkin spice lattes."
No, that wasn't very often. Actually, it was mostly the white chocolate mocha with a quad espresso shot.
That's true. We used to have.
How often do you brunch? Every single weekend, a couple times a month, just for special occasions. Laugh out loud. Brunch is overrated. I'm just gonna leave it. Brunch is overrated, bro.
I love brunch.
I wake up to it
just for occasional special occasions. I enjoy good brunch. We do brunch on Saturdays with the kids.
We're like 3/4 of the way through this. All right,
what?
So let's move faster.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have a credit card? Yes, multiple. Yes, and it comes in handy. No, but I want one. No, I don't want one.
Yes, and it comes in handy.
Yep. All right. How often do you Uber? Never. All the time, even places I could walk, mostly just on the weekends. Almost never. I'd rather drive myself. I always walk, bike, or use public transportation. I'd rather drive myself.
What else we got? Man, how long is this?
When you work out, what do you like to do to get your sweat on?
What if we don't work out right now?
Yuck, I don't sweat. Tennis or golf, yoga or another exercise, run, bike, or lift weights. If I have to
if you had to pick one of these.
Tennis and golf.
Tennis, 100%, man.
I love tennis. All right.
I forgot. We talked about that in past episodes.
So let's imagine you're house hunting, which you just did. How many bathrooms would your ideal place have? Bathrooms? It needs at least 2.
I have 7 girls in my house.
But
I would say 2's fine.
2's fine. I need 2.
There's 4, at least 4, 3, 2, or you only need 1. But you need at least 2 because if I'm pooping,
there's got to be an
emergency
poop station.
There's got to be another one, man. There's got to be another one.
So have you ever bought something even though you couldn't really afford it? Yeah, all the time. It's called a car and a house. That's what credit cards are for. I'm not going to lie. It's happened. It's happened only once that I can remember. Oh, my gosh, never would I ever. Yeah, nope. I'm not going to lie. It's happened.
Have I ever couldn't afford it? No, never would happen.
You've never put anything on a credit card you couldn't afford at that time?
I've only ever put stuff on credit cards so I can get points back.
You've never bought a car? That's kind of like a credit card. You've never bought...
It's a loan, but not a credit card.
You've never, ever bought something even though you couldn't really afford it. It's not talking about a credit card. It's talking about...
But my would be, if I can't afford it, I'm not buying it.
Have you ever bought something you can't afford? Well, can you afford to buy a car outright without a car payment? That's affording to buy.
So I've only bought a car with cash twice.
Okay, so then you are... I'm not going to lie. It's happened.
Okay.
That's honesty, right?
Okay. Time to go grocery shopping. Where are you buying your food? The farmer's market, Whole Foods, Trader Joe, I don't know, a normal supermarket?
That's me.
Kroger, baby.
Is thread count important to you? Okay.
Thread count for sheets? Yes, I deserve to be comfortable. Yes, but only if it's not too expensive. Only for the sheets. What is thread count?
I am a huge Egyptian. I'm an Egyptian cotton, at least 1,000 thread count.
It's a bad thing when we got adult monies to spend on sheets.
At least.
But yeah, no, thread count matters for sheets.
Okay,
100%.
how often do you check social media? Let's click that for you right now.
I deleted social media off my phone for a couple days.
Yeah, a couple days, and then you started having withdrawals and shaking. I'm constantly glued to my phone. To be honest, more than I should. I don't know, a few times a day. I don't have social media.
I'm pretty bad.
Monday through Friday, it's probably, I don't know, a few times a day. But the weekends is probably more than I should. So I'm going to go with more than I should.
Yeah, I'm going constantly on my phone.
So do you consider yourself an influencer?
Hey, we talked about that last episode.
Not really, but maybe. I'm sorry. Yes, I could or do make a career out of it. I set the trends for the social circle. Not really, but maybe to someone. Am I supposed to know what that is? I'm going to put not really.
Not really, but maybe to someone. Hopefully, you guys are so far along with this quiz,
Holy
and you're
cow.
not bored with us yet. We're at 20 minutes already.
Do you eat organic? Pesticides are bad. Yes, for most things. I try as long as it's affordable.
Do I eat?
I buy whatever.
I buy whatever.
Yeah, that's me.
I don't eat organic.
Has anyone ever called you down to earth? Lol, no. I would definitely remember that. Maybe once, but I'm not sure. Some people would describe me that way. Yes, that's my overall.
Are you called
vibe.
down to earth? I would say that's my vibe. I'm down to earth. You're definitely down to earth, 100%.
Okay, I'm going by what you say. Okay, I got not all that bougie.
You're not. No. Oh, not all
bougie.
that. That's different. That's different.
Not bougie at all.
You are not bougie. I'm semi-bougie, which means if you were worried to take this quiz because you thought it might expose all your booginess, don't worry. You're only semi-bougie. You really want to be a down-to-earth person, but let's face it, you got bougie tendencies, fam. I just choked on my own spit. You like nice things. You've got Gucci taste, but you're rocking a Walmart budget. Yo,
hey, they just called you out.
Just called me out. To be honest, same, bro, same. We feel your pain, but we want you to remember to keep your splurges in check. One day you'll be able to spend all the money, but that day is not here quite yet because I have 7 kids. Wow, I feel seen.
All right, I want to read mine now.
Wow, I'm crying.
Not bougie at all. Wait, what is the complete opposite of bougie? Are you like a hippie or something living in your van?
Down by the river.
Do you not wear shoes? Not really. So
No,
as to feel more connected to with the earth? No, just because it's comfortable. You're chill AF, which I'm not going to say. And you disregard for material things is total goals. Whatever. They can't completely make out full sentences. But if that day comes that there is something your mellow soul desires, don't be afraid to splurge on it from time to time. It's okay to treat yourself.
Welcome to Real Talk Christian Podcast. I am semi-bougie, and he's bougie not even an ounce.
Welcome to Bougie and Non-Bougie.
Okay, I have to apologize. That was a butt-long quiz to get into this conversation.
We're just going to jump in.
We're just going to jump in,
Let's read the review and then go.
Okay, so the review this week is from Stephen W. Clip. You got it?
It says real. Hello, I'm so glad to have found this podcast. The church I helped plant and attended for 13 years is closing, and I find myself looking for a church to attend. I needed some perspective and found you guys. This podcast has helped me through this process and helped me stay close to God in this time of unknown. Thank you for sharing yourselves, the real you, and having real conversations that are tied to God through the world. Thank you, even though Marc is bougie. Stephen W. Clip.
He did not say that. I'm saying thank you. For the record, I am semi-bougie. I ain't full bougie.
Bougie tendencies.
I'm not full bougie, bruh. I ain't full bougie. I'm just semi-bougie.
Bougie tendencies. All
And
right.
so we're going to answer out the question. Is it okay for a Christian to be bougie? And I do not want to have this conversation right now. I do not want to have it. I told you we have some fun tonight.
You totally thought you were going to get not bougie.
I'm talking really fast because I'm feeling very awkward right now. I thought I was going to get, you're a little bougie.
And you brought the topic to the table.
I knew. I mean, come on now. I
love
mean,
it.
gotta call
All
a
right.
spade a spade. But
Let's go, bro.
I didn't think I was that much of a spade. I just love how it's like you Gucci on a Walmart budget. That's really what it is, man.
That was the funniest thing I've ever heard, though, to be honest
That
with
is
you.
ridiculous. But we're talking about, just can Christians be bougie? And, we're bringing this up because, it's fall, it's Christmas season, it's gift time shopping. And that's kind of the vibe and the culture, what it is, we want to be bougie, talking about bougie this, bougie that.
No.
But
We all don't want to be bougie, just some
semi-bougie.
people.
So I'm a full person who is semi-bougie. Thank you very much. But so today the question.
Why'd you sound so bougie when you said that? Anyways.
So the question today is the fact of what does it mean to be bougie and is it okay for Christians to be bougie? So what does bougie even mean? Okay, so I couldn't bring in a theological perspective on this quote. So I had to go to our good old friends at USA Today. And they had an article that says what you're really saying when you call something bougie. And there's some history to this. It's actually kind of cool. Well, even though it might seem so 2017, the term bougie actually has a 100-year history and multiple spellings dating back to revolutionary France before stemming off into variations of the slang word that we know and love today. So bougie, or bourgeois all stem from Burgundies. Does that say it right?
I don't know. I'm just waiting for you to pronounce all this stuff.
B-O-U-R-G.
Borgesi.
Borgesi.
I don't know.
It's a French word that simply means of middle class status, which is interesting. That bougie usually used to mean of middle class status. In fact, Karl Marx, author of the Communist Manifesto, this is not sponsored or anything by that, used two types of economic status to illustrate class struggles and advocate for communism over capitalism.
Yeah,
the basically the bourgeois and the proletariat.
It's like me trying to read Greek.
you got the bougie and you got the poor. That's kind of the idea. So in Marc's philosophy, the bourgeois were the owners and producers in industrializing and factory life. They typically valued property, profit, and maintaining their social status. The proletariat was the working class. Pro was slang for low status, but it's not used all much these days. But over time, the adjective form bourgeois came to be more generic description of upper middle class materialism. The most recent iteration of that word is bougie. Whatever way you want to spell it, it's bougie. Used to describe high-end taste, like driving. Which is funny. Is why is bougie driving a Prius? Why USA Today? That's stupid. But because that's not bougie driving a Prius. But it's like driving your Prius to get avocado toast after some Soul Cycle, maybe at Orange Theory Fitness.
Pause.
Yes.
Remember when Janelle said you were like the avocado toast of life or something like that? She said something about you being the avocado toast of something.
Back when Jimmy Fallon called Mayor Pete avocado toast or something like that.
Yeah, that's like totally you, she said.
Avocado toast, which is funny because I don't like avocados.
No, but you're the avocado toast of life, man.
There you go. So in modern day English, someone who is bougie is creating an air of wealth or upper class status. Here's the kicker. You ready? This is where the conversation is going to come, whether it's true or not. Take, for example, the following listicles. One from Thought Catalog called Things Bougie People Like, and one from Very Smart Brothers, 40 Signs You Might Be a Bougie Black Person. Their examples include designer coffee, brunching, rosé, organic, and free-range food, electric cars, using a selfie that you took atop the mountain as your Facebook profile picture, and milk products that come from basically any place besides cows.
What's rosé?
Rosé, what? Really?
What is that?
Yeah, rosé wine. It's like you have white, you got red, you got rosé. It's the pinky stuff, and normally has a little bubbly to it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I feel you now, bro.
My nose is running because I've been laughing so hard.
The only thing I do in that whole thing is the designer coffee, and it's because I roast it myself.
But basically, but I think we get the idea of the fact of bougie people, whether they have a social status or not, they're trying to reach this pinnacle of life where it looks like you got your crap together. You're living the Instagram lifestyle. You're living that TikTok influencer, YouTuber lifestyle, and you have the look to prove it. And a lot of times people will try to make their external appearances look really rich and classy and fancy, whether or not they have the money to do it, or people who have money. Like, this is kind of interesting. You see of like where certain churches, like some churches that are in lower income, higher income, and they just have, it's like, man, y'all bougie. Like,
preachers and sneakers.
Basically right there. So let's bring into today's conversation, all right? So being quote unquote bougie is basically a slang term that means people who are trying to live up to a certain lifestyle. And then the question today that we're going to talk about is, so should Christians strive to live that bougie lifestyle? I have a lot of Bible to talk about today.
Let's go.
So here's the areas we're going to talk about, all right? How should Christians handle money? How should we handle possessions, extravagance, and trying to, quote unquote, live their best life? Not their best life, how they live their best life.
No cap.
Get the...
Sorry, I just learned the word. What do you expect?
My nose is running like crazy because I was crying from reading that. Call me semi-bougie.
Calling you.
Anywho, so.
Spade a spade.
Goodness. So here's a question.
Poor guy.
Does the Bible actually even address money and possessions? And the answer is yes. Here's some fun facts about it from an article from Tithely, which is a online giving platform that actually sponsors my other podcast. 16 out of 35 of Jesus's parables deal with money and possessions. That's wild. Almost half deal with money and possessions. Nearly 25% of Jesus' words in the New Testament deal with biblical stewardship. 1 out of 10 verses in the Gospels deal with money. There are more than 2,000 scriptures on tithing in the Bible, money, and possessions in the Bible, which is twice as many as faith and prayer combined. Wow. So in reality, Jesus and the biblical authors and God actually have opinions on money, wealth, and
let's
prosperity.
dive into those scriptures.
Cool. So let's talk about Bible verses on money. Because remember, we're going to talk about money, we're going to talk about possessions, extravagance, and living your best life. And they're all going to weed in and out. So we might have some verses that are like, oh, that could work here, but I just put them in separate categories. Sure. So I have a lot of verses.
I'm just going to sit back for the ride and we can have the discussion afterwards.
That sounds good. So Bible verses on money. First off, money itself is not a bad thing. All right? So in Proverbs 10:4, it says, a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of a diligent makes rich. In other words, if you're actually going to work, that's how you make your money. Proverbs 22:4, the reward for humility and the fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for righteousness. So if this is what Proverbs says and Solomon says, it doesn't necessarily mean that money itself is a bad thing. However, trying to trust in money is not a good thing, and trying to, get money quick is a bad game plan for life. And we've talked about tithing and other money type issues in other podcast episodes before, so I want to make sure we go back and reference those. But it's the fact of money isn't a bad thing, but a lot of times, as we're going to talk about in later passages, it's your mindset and how you handle money is where it becomes a bad thing.
Well, and I think Proverbs 10:4 was talking about more like lazy people are going to end up in poverty, but the hand of a diligent makes rich, which means those who work hard will do well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what you're saying.
Right. So it's not the fact of, as Christians, we ain't supposed to be about the money, so I'm just going to not go and do anything. When in reality, it's like, no, you need to take care of your family. And a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And the reward for humility is riches, honor, and life. Another thing it says,
I don't know if it's talking necessarily about money.
Riches?
The reward of humility and fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. Because honor and life, why would that go with money? I'm looking at that scripture. I'd be curious to dive a little.
Yeah, good question. I mean,
I'm just saying.
I got this in another passage, but it talks about in the Bible it says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
It says you can only serve. You can't. I mean, we'll get to this later. You can't serve God and money. So money is a slave to many people. So it's the idea of chasing after money and getting after money and trusting in your money. That's not the good thing, because we kind of have to have currency to live and buy food and things like that.
Right.
Something else it talks about in money is trying to get money quick is a bad game plan for life. Again, going back to Proverbs 13:11, it says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Proverbs 28:20, a faithful man will abound with blessing, but whoever hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. So don't chase after the get rich quick schemes. Trusting in money, though, will not do you much good. Proverbs 11:28 says, whoever trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like a green leaf. Ecclesiastes 5:10, he who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This is also vanity. And these two passages were written by the richest person probably to ever live.
Yeah.
Solomon. Where he had all the money, all the things. It's like whoever trusts him, you're going to fall. Whoever loves money and is satisfied with it, at the end of the day, you're not going to be satisfied.
Well, he built a whole temple out of gold, so I would say gold and silver. I'd say he's pretty rich.
Yep. So those are some Bible verses that talk about money, right?
Yeah.
Here's some Bible verses, or rather a Bible verse that talks about possession in general. And the main thing that we have is the fact of our possessions, our material goods will fade. They're not here for forever.
Sure.
We can do this with, just the idea of we upgrade new phones all the time, new equipment, new cars. Like we know the law of inertia. Things are constantly breaking down around us. And in Matthew 6:19 through 20, it says, do not lay up for yourself treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Any thoughts so far, my dude?
I'm just along for the ride, my friend.
All right, next one, Bible verses on extravagance. If you live a life where you go into serious debt for extravagance, you are setting yourself up for a hard life. In Proverbs 22:7, it says, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is the slave to the lender. And it continues on. Actually, let's pause right there. So Proverbs 22:7, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is the slave to the lender. I remember being a teenager and my mom talking to me about this verse. But, obviously, this is where it gets hard, like with student loans and with mortgages and car payments and all these different things. My goal in life, and my mom always said, your goal in life is to always be debt free. Obviously,
that's the goal of everybody. I think
you can't have a house without. Well, there's a difference between a quote unquote goal for everyone and actually living your life to live in that reality and goal. Because so many times, they're like, oh, I don't have debt, but it's like you can't get ahead in life because you're blowing money all the time on extravagance and good things. My nose is still messed up from laughing too hard. But when it comes to, being a slave to the lender, a lot of people over the years have asked me, how did you survive and buy a house with literally having a youth pastor's income? I did not get paid a lot right off the bat. And I bought a house when I was doing all of that. And the answer is I had no debt.
Sure.
So there's a lot of people out there who try to have the good things and they go into debt to have the extravagant lifestyles and the cars and the houses and the clothes and all these different things. And they go into debt to have this extravagance. And that's not really a wise thing to do.
But not all people do that. So,
no, I'm just saying some people do.
Some people still end up, because they are poor, having to take loans out like student loans or put things on credit cards to pay the bills or to eat.
I do want to say this. I'm not crushing on anyone who has had to do that to get through life, because Beth has been there. Many of us have been there where it's like, we got to do it. I've just been blessed where I haven't had to, but I've also had family support to be able to help me do certain things too.
Yeah.
So let's just call it like it is. Proverbs 6:1-5 says this: "My son, if you put up security for your neighbor, you have given your pledge for a stranger. If you are snared in the words of your mouth, caught up in the words of your mouth, then do this, my son, and save yourself. For you have come into the hands of your neighbor. Go, hasten, and plead urgently with your neighbor. Give your eyes no sleep and your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter and a bird from the hand of the fowler." And, when we're looking at all these proverbs, these are literally wise thoughts from a father to a son and things that he wants him to take with him to get through life.
Right.
And so far, a lot of what we read is the fact of don't trust money, don't chase after money, don't try to get money quick, don't go into debt. If you are borrowing money from someone, you're literally becoming a slave to that person. You have to live your entire life to pay that thing off.
Right.
And, if you have a debt, don't fall asleep until you pay that sucker off, because then you can live a free life. And so far, what I'm picking up in Proverbs from what we've read so far, the fact is, it seems like more money, more problems.
Yeah, not necessarily. It's just
what I'm hearing.
How you handle it. But continue on.
Continue?
Yeah,
this isn't a lot of conversation yet.
I wanted you to do all these,
and then we'll chit chat,
and then we'll come back.
Okay,
up to
I'm trying to chit chat in the middle of all this. Okay,
so you got the questions up here, so I want to come back to that.
All right, so striving to live a life full of extravagance will not lead to anything. Again, we're still in Proverbs 28:20. It says, "A faithful man will abound with blessing, but whoever hastens to be rich will not go unpunished." Proverbs 23:4-5 says, "Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich, because you know better. Stop. As soon as your eye flies to it, it disappears, for it makes wings for itself and flies away like the eagle to the sky." Ecclesiastes 5:10 says, "He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This is also vanity." And the next one is striving to live a life full of extravagance actually does go against God. Because in 1 John 2:16, it says, "For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride of possession is not from the Father, but it is from the world." So let's jump into the last little bit where Bible verses on living your best life. You guys gotta live your best life, man. Just do you, baby.
Okay.
Here's a lot of verses that talk about your best life. In fact, though, does not have to look like everyone else's definition example of what it means to, quote unquote, live your best life.
Right.
Proverbs 22:1 says this: "A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver or gold." 1 John 3:17, "But if anyone has the world's good and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him?"
Proverbs, money where your mouth is.
Exactly. Proverbs 28:6, "Better is a poor man who walks in integrity than a rich man who is crooked in all his ways." 1 Timothy 6:17-19, "For as the rich in this present age charge them not to be haughty, nor to set their hopes on the uncertainty of riches, but on God, who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. They are to do good, be rich in good works, to be generous and ready to share, thus storing up treasures for themselves as a good foundation for the future, so that they may take hold of that which is truly life." James 4:13-17 says, "Come now, you who say, 'Today or tomorrow we'll travel to such and such a city and spend a year there and do business and make a profit,' yet you don't even know what tomorrow will bring. what your life will be. For you are like a vapor that appears for a little while, then vanishes. Instead, you should say, if the Lord wills, we'll live and then go do this or that. But as it is, you boast in your own arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So, here you go. It is a sin to know the good. It's just not know to do good, but it's a sin to know the good and yet not do it. 1 Timothy 6:17 through 19, it says, for as the rich of this present age, didn't we just read this verse? Oh,
yes,
man,
yes,
I copied and pasted that one twice. Psalm 37:21 says, the wicked borrows but does not pay back, but the righteous is generous and gives. Talking about then the question is, okay, so if the Bible talks about it, we can live a different life than anyone else's, what should we do with our money? And the Bible says that we need to honor God with our money.
All right, so let's pause.
Pause there. Okay.
Let's pause for a second.
I need a water break because
about your four questions, right?
Yep.
So you said in the beginning, how should Christians handle money? How should Christians handle possession? I know you know how I feel for the past 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. How should Christians handle possessions? How should Christians handle extravagance? How should Christians handle trying to live their best life? Before you go into the last bit of kind of encouragement, right? I think this is a good place to stop and have the conversation. Not that I'm in charge of the show. Are you good with that?
I want a break, so go for it.
So how should Christians handle money? I think many of the verses point to this. One, like you said, we're saying, don't chase after it. If money is the ruler of your life, there's a problem. There's a big problem. Don't be indebted if at all possible, right? Only because then you become a slave and they become the master, whoever the lender is. And that's why it's an advice, right? That's why Solomon advised his son not to do that, because then you become enslaved. You're enslaved to that mortgage payment, that
and that's
car
it. This is a lot of just advice. It's advice that a father gives a son. Yeah.
Right. So it limits you from being able to do other things, is what it is.
I mean, it's kind of like that Dave Ramsey principle where it's like live like no one else, so then later you can live like no one else.
It's great. It's great advice. I don't know if it's plausible to do for everyone, right? There's just some people that they just, they do their best, and maybe at one point they had a really good job and could afford their house, and now they don't. And
life happens,
but they can't sell their house because then they would have no place to live, and so they just had to go into debt to help pay for things. Life happens, right? And so that's more of what I wanted to lean into a little bit earlier.
But I think that's different than trying to, and this is where I want the conversation to go.
Sure.
I think that's a different conversation than this conversation with, okay, so you're trying to, going back to how bougie is too bougie,
right?
And being a Christian is the
Keep
fact
it up
of
with the Joneses.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly it. So it's the idea of, and maybe I didn't translate that part well.
That's my thing. I don't want people to misunderstand what you're trying to say.
So thank you for that, because I don't want to me mistranslate the fact of life happens, life is hard. Thankfully that we're able to put things on debt and take care of your family in certain ways, and hard times come.
We're talking more about being the bougie.
There's a difference between doing your best. I mean, I'm thinking of like single moms out there with 2 or 3 kids, and you're just grinding to make ends meet, and it's hard.
You're putting your hand to the plow and going forward.
It is freaking hard, but at the same time, I feel like that's just trying to live rather than you're intentionally trying to live an extravagant lifestyle. You're trying to be bougie.
You're buying that Tesla. You're buying that Tesla not out of need, but out of status.
Because you feel pressured into buying one because of the way everyone else is.
But we can take this even past this, right? So, possessions, you said one thing. I kind of tie money and possessions together. Because you really don't get a whole lot.
I agree. That's right.
Yeah. So it all kind of ties together.
It all goes together, to be honest with you.
But the extravagance, to live their best life, the bouginess of that, right? It's kind of like what we said. Even with it can happen just in some of the ways we present ourselves to others, right? Just in our personalities of like, oh, I've got nothing wrong in my life, and I'm above everything. Life can't touch me. Nothing can touch me. Like you live up here,
right? I mean, that's First Timothy. We're talking about being modest at heart. Like you want to be a gentle spirit that loves people and people loves you, because you can also be bougie in your personality and your attitude.
Yeah,
right?
It comes back down to being real, right? So the person that's constantly posting how wonderful their life is on social media, those are the people.
Just
that's
giving
like,
highlights.
To me, it's like, well, okay, that's great. I mean, it is what it is. And then there's the poopy.
No,
the people.
We're both having troubles talking tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That kind of take that have to be that Instagram person. They got to get that gram. They got to do it for the gram, like we talked about in that quiz earlier. That, hey, look, I got to do this to get the gram, but that's not really who you are. You're only being that fake person for the gram, right? For the attention that you get, for the followers you get, for the likes you get, for the subscriptions you get. And that's where it's a big trap, right? That's what it is. It's a big trap that Satan has put out there to drag people down, because how are you supposed to, when we're supposed to confess to each other, right? Confess our sins, confess our heartaches, confess our love one another. How are we supposed to do that when we're being fake? And this is the big problem that I have with a lot of the Western culture, church, especially with the onset of social media, is that there's so much fakeness, right? It's always putting my best foot forward, and I can't let people see the real me. Well, people need to see the real you, because that's how we.
But you can't even do that. I mean, that's where living in community with people is. Yeah, but the beautiful thing,
sure, right? But how am I supposed to hold somebody accountable if they're always putting their best foot forward on social media, at church, in emails, on phones, on texts? I mean, you know what I mean? Because you can be fake all the way around. You can fake it till you make it, right? Don't let anybody in. Don't let them in. Don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Bouginess right there in Frozen.
Don't feel, don't let them
bouginess,
know.
Right? That's bougie.
Now they know.
But that's the bougie lifestyle, right? That's the live their best life. I can't let them know. I can't let anybody in, because I got to keep this front out of I'm this person. I'm this person you see on Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube or on Snapchat or on whatever.
Right. So I think it goes back to, this whole idea of the extravagance lifestyle. A lot of times, like you said, like, are you trying to be fake, or what are you trying to prove?
What's the purpose, right?
What's the purpose of it? And, like, the Bible has a lot to say on honoring God with our money, but it also says a whole lot on honoring God with our attitudes.
Yeah,
and our actions too, and being humble.
Now you can also take it the opposite direction too,
okay.
right? So track with me here a little bit.
Okay, I'm tracking.
So we're talking about bouginess, right? Can Christians be bougie? But can Christians, it's like they put on the sackcloth and the ash and the woe is me, look at me out in the streets, as the Pharisees did back in the day that Jesus called them out. Why you do these things? So everybody looks at you. So as Christians, you could also take it too far the other way of like, I'm going to come in my bib overalls into church, and what's that going to do? Draw attention to you.
So then I think that's what it is the fact of how many times do we live a certain lifestyle because we want to draw attention to ourselves? Right. Now, I think this is where...
And we can't judge each other's hearts, right? This is a self-reflection that each and every one of us have to do.
We can't judge other people's intents and motives because we don't know what's going on.
Sure.
But we can judge a tree by its fruit, too.
Right, because you have we discussed a little bit of this on the does what we wear Sunday matter?
Oh, well, yeah.
So maybe that bib overall wearing person is a farmer, right? And that's the best they got, that's what they wear. It wasn't intentionally trying to draw attention on themselves. That their intentions are good. That's what I'm saying. You can't judge that book. Maybe somebody is very convicted about dressing really nice to present themselves and giving the best to God, right? And that's their mindset going to church. It's not to, again, draw attention to themselves, but to show like God, not that God needs it, like we discussed, but it's their way of showing God. It's another form of worship to them, right?
Right. Yeah, this is something I was thinking about too, and I was talking to Beth about this last night, where, there's so many times where, man, I'm just going to call a spade. So, like, they were talking about someone's house and whatnot, and they were like, oh, what church do they go to? Oh, yeah, a lot of those people that go to that church have those massive houses like that. And I'm like, well, that's a little judgmental at first. Beth didn't say it. Someone else said it. But then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, so at what point do we look at people who have the, $750,000 houses, and it's like, it's literally you two and a kid, and your house is like, it's huge. And at what point do we start saying that to people of like, man, how big is too big? How extravagant is too extravagant? Because then people can look at it, my life and your life, see all the stuff that we like. Well, I mean,
And
I have 3 cars.
Okay, but we're saying,
and I have a big house.
We're saying Midwest Indiana, right?
Right, yeah.
250,000 right now is probably about the average 3-bedroom, 2-bath around here.
But again, based on how many square foot, like Orkney, I had 3-bedroom, 2-bath,
1,800 square feet.
I would say, yeah, probably like 180 to 250. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're depending on how nice it is, right, or how decent it is.
Cost
right?
of living.
So this house was the house we're in right now is a total pigsty, and I paid a pretty penny for it within that range, I'll say.
Yeah, you did, because, man, houses were ridiculous.
And, because of the market, right? So, but you go out west, right, and a house like this is going for $500,000, $750,000. Same house, same square footage, but location is different. Now, you take this house and you go to Africa, $10. I don't know if that's really it, but
no, but it's the fact of we're rich compared to a lot of other places.
Well, not just that, but depending on where you're at, it may not be I'm trying to get the social status. How big is too big? How much is too much? It might be location, right? It might be like, no, this is a reasonable house. It just costs a lot because of the location. Now I get it. If you got a 3,000 square foot house and it's just you, okay. Now I'd be like, maybe you want to look at that, but maybe they got something going on. Maybe they're hosting huge church events there. I don't know, right? And so that's why I don't want to make a blanket statement. You got to take it case by case, and you got to judge the root and the fruit, right?
I think it goes back to the matter of the heart, because the Bible even talks about Jesus. We're talking about what's the heart of the matter. Right. Like when he was talking to the rich young ruler, and he was like, "Hey, Jesus, what I got to do?" He said, "Sell all your stuff, give it to the poor, and follow me." And he hung his head because he owned a lot.
Well,
of
it was
things.
So I
don't think it's calling us all to sell everything.
No, but it was like the woman with the 2 mites, right? Mm-hmm. She put her 2 mites, and what did they say? What did Peter say? Was it Peter? No, was it Jesus? Jesus. What did Jesus say? Sorry.
She gave more than the Pharisee
who was rich and gave little, right? He gave, let's say, it didn't say how much. Say it was the rabbi, and he gave us 10%. And then it was...
But it ended up being like $10,000.
Yeah, it was like 10 grand. And then this woman had $10, and that's all she had left to her name, and she gave that entire $10. And Jesus goes, well, that's the heart. That's the heart right there.
And so I think that's where it goes back to, and that's where, I think the conversation is, it was just a fun conversation.
Yeah, no.
But the fact of, I think we have to be careful, even me, myself, to go, why am I doing what I am doing? Like,
right.
This is going to, I'm not trying to justify or anything. Like my shoes, for example, right? I've worn the same exact pair of shoes. They cost me like $50 both times. I wear them because they're stinking comfortable and they're black and they don't get dirty.
Sure.
And I try to buy nicer quality things so that things don't break down, buy it once instead of buy it twice and spend 3 times as much.
Sure.
But I do think that there's a level at which that we fight for comfortability as Western Christians too. We fight to be comfortable and we fight to do all these different things.
Well, we got to take it out of just the material realm though, right? We got to take it into the to the personality realm, right? And everything else that we do. So when I go to work, Am I acting a certain way because of people around me? Am I acting better than what I actually am, or worse than I actually am? Am I trying to be bougie or anti-bougie? Same with social media. Am I posting this gram to get likes? Am I posting this gram just to share? And this is all where the self-reflection comes in, because Mark, you can't judge me because you don't know my heart behind the post. Right. And I can't judge you because I don't know your heart behind how you're acting at work. You know what I mean?
Because what does the Bible talk about? It talks about checking your own heart.
Right. Right. Well, and you can judge by the fruit, but honestly, most of the time, like, unless you're like going around making dirty jokes at work and swearing, then okay, and now I'm, as a Christian brother, I'm going to judge the fruit, and I'm going to come and approach you lovingly and in gentleness, but I'm going to approach you about it. And likewise, if you see me posting some, $50,000 sneakers on social media and just
trying to be a thirst trap,
but that I'm having a hard time feeding my family, I'd expect you to come talk to me. You know what I mean? Hey, there's some fruit there that ain't right.
Right. And that's, I think that's the biggest thing, is the fact of, I guess for me, it's more the fact of who are you trying to impress? Right. Why do you have what you have? Now, granted, if someone's just because someone's driving around a Lexus or an Alfa Romeo or a Benz or a Mercedes, I mean, maybe if you got like a Phantom, then I might have some question about how rich you are. But you see this life of extravagance and all these different things, and man, I guess for me, I just struggle because I'm like, do you really need all of that? Like Beth and I were watching The Crown right now, and the royals have the most extravagant stuff ever. and they were making fun of the queen because they were complaining that like the royals and the crown were like, oh, we need more money. We need you guys to give us more money for extravagant lifestyle. And they're like, are you kidding me? You guys know what you have, right? You don't need to beg us for more money for you guys just to sit there and look pretty. Like, that's not at all how this works.
But it all depends on mindset too, right? Because in their mindset, maybe they do need that, right? Just like
for the yachts.
Say the bum on the side of the road takes a look at me driving my car.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's where I start reflecting.
He doesn't need that. Why can't he take the bus or ride a bike like I do? You know, that's so
and that's exactly, and that's where I get stuck in this was the fact of, but again, we can't sit there and go, I wish you rich people were like me because here's all the stuff I do. Because I mean, even
that's why I say it's all about self-reflection. Right. As Christians, we can't judge the world, and I'm not going to try to judge the world. What I'm saying is that as a Christian, we should always check ourselves to go, am I bougie? Am I being bougie? Am I being totally anti-bougie to where I'm drawing a scene? Am I taking the focus away from God, or am I helping others to find God?
Right. So let's just jump into Romans 12 here, and then I'm going to read Romans 12, 1 and 2, which then sets up for the next verse. Because we talk about Romans 12, 1 and 2 all the time. Where it talks about, brothers and sisters, in view of the mercies of God, I urge you to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, pleasing to God, for this is your true worship. Do not be conformed to this age. I think this applies to this conversation, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that way you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. But it continues, for by the grace given to me, I tell everyone among you not to think of himself more highly than he should. Instead, think sensibly as God has distributed a measure of faith to each one. And then it goes into, now as we have many parts in one body, and all parts do not have the same function in the same way, we who are many in one body in Christ, and individually members of another. According to the grace given to us, we have different gifts. And maybe that's where some of this conversation comes, is the fact of there's some people who make a butt ton of money. Like I think of Papa Pat's, who started Northland, the college I went to. The dude was just a typical farmer, dropped out of, like he was like old school Wisconsin farmer, dropped out elementary, maybe junior high education, wasn't a good reader. And the dude invented a specific tool that then became patented and sold for farmers all across America, became buku filthy rich. But what did he do with his money? He started a campground. He started a university. He gave most of that money away because he's like, this is just what I'm able to do. This is my part of the body, is someone has to fund these things. So let's go do it. And I think that's a good mindset to have. But then there's also other people where it's like, you know what? You might not have a lot, but what do you have? Some people can think, some people can do, and all these different things. But then the question goes back to is, no matter what, don't think of yourself more than what you ought to. Because that's called being not being humble.
Well, and you can see from Paul writing in Romans 12 right there, there seems like there may have been some, my faith is this big, strong faith, and my status in the church is up here because of my faith. And this is why he's saying, hey, no.
Which they did that because in the church you talked about, for the Lord's Supper, they were like, man, you rich people getting together, y'all getting drunk over this stuff, and you're leaving the poor people out there. Like, he goes, we're all one in Christ, man. Like that's
so
not how this works.
It's all about bringing people back down, which is why he says renew your mind.
Or the sin of partiality too, where it's like, you give favor, let the famous people sit in the front row and all these different things. And now you poor people, you don't look at, we don't want you to be viewed up here, so go back there.
Or those people that are adorning themselves with pearls and gold and fine jewels, like that's the same thing, right? It's a status symbol. It's, look at how fancy, how rich I am. And Paul's saying, no.
That's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about.
Clothe yourself in humility is
and
what
he's telling them
Timothy.
To check yourself
before you wreck yourself.
So
let's start to land the plane a little bit right here.
Yeah,
so what are some checks and balances that we can do to make sure that we're not trying to live a extravagant lifestyle to get the attention that we don't deserve?
I think it just comes back to,
what are some good checks and balances?
I think it just comes back to daily looking at your life and your intentions behind doing things before you do them. Really, that's the biggest check that you can do in your life, whether it's for money, status, extravagance, any of that. Just go, why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it to have a bigger status, to show people I can do this, that, or am I doing it because, hey, my family would need this, or maybe it's a good thing for my family to go have fun, and that's it.
And wise investment for your family. Yeah.
So I think that's a good check and balance. And for us as married men, it's a good thing because we can bounce it off our wives and be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What's your thoughts on it? You know, does it seem like I'm being a little too bougie?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, you use those that you can lean on for those who aren't married. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a pastor. Maybe it's a deacon, a deaconess, whoever. Mm-hmm. You know, a mentor, a mentee. Who knows? So, but bounce it off somebody. If you really, but daily self-examine yourself, I think is a big thing that we should be doing. In all aspects of our Christian walk, each and every day, we should have that self-examining.
And a heart check is what you're saying. A heart check and a mind check.
Right, exactly.
In reality. You know, I also think it is fair to say, though, that the Bible does talk a lot about money and being wise with it and honoring God, because it talks about being a cheerful giver. It talks about
being a good steward. And then also it talks about, like in James, like true religion is taking care of the helpless, the poor, the widow, the orphan in their distress. And so I do think there's a level at which the good checks and balances is asking the question of, what am I spending my money on? Sure.
And is it going towards kingdom things?
Right.
Because again, I know some people who are like the CFO of like the biggest bank in the whole area. He might not be CFO, but he's up there like the top 5 for First Source Bank. The dude loves Jesus and gives like crazy, and you would never know it much by talking with him, because he's like, this is just what it is. Right. You know? And so I do think there's a level of living humbly to not draw attention to yourself, like you said. I do think it's another thing to be like, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. I do think it's fair to say a lot of us have been given much. So what can we give back? Give back to our communities, give back to our churches, give back to our families, give back to organizations, people who have help in need. And we've had a lot of those organizations here on the podcast.
Sure.
Like Little Neighbors, Back-to-Back Ministries, Frericks down in Peru with Ambassadors. Like we've had a lot of amazing ministries in Getty Music Fest that are doing amazing things. And let's just be honest, you need money to do those things. You need money to do ministry. Like that's just the world we're living in. You know, so I do think it's fair to say you should give to ministries, you should give to organizations and to your local church for kingdom purposes, because the Bible even does say, like, you know, Malachi, the only place in the whole Bible that says, I want you to test me in this area.
Yeah.
Test me with your money.
I ain't saying that.
Like Jesus flat out, God said, test me with your money and let me just show you what I'm able to do. And so I think it's the fact of we can't trust in our 401ks and our 403bs and in our stocks and in our investments and our
as we
homes.
see, the market can drop at any moment.
And now that doesn't give us an excuse and a way to squirm out of it, because we need to be wise with our money. Because, I mean, even Proverbs said it's wise to leave an inheritance for your children's children.
Sure.
So we need to be wise and be good stewards, good servants with our money.
But it's more than that, too. It's your time. Because if you're only seeking out for leaving a good inheritance, but you don't spend any time with your kids.
That ain't a good inheritance at all, man.
That's a horrible inheritance.
Because kids would rather have you than have your money.
Exactly. So it's not all about money. It's about your entire lifestyle and how you present yourself.
Yeah, but I do want to give this encouragement out there, too, for the single mom, for the single dad, the people that are just grinding and trying to do all that they can do. It's not a call to be like, oh, you got to give more. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. You can't go into debt. You can never use a credit card, never do these different things. Like, you need to be wise. And sometimes to do what's best for your family now does take sacrifice. Yeah. And I'm never going to jeopardize that. And I talked with Beth many times about how, you know, one time she's like, she paid off her credit card finally. Then all of a sudden, like, washer and dryer went out.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you're screwed. And so all these things happen. And, you know, another buddy of mine, he was a church planner, moved here to South Bend and end up getting completely screwed in the process, got into a lot of credit card debt, and they've been working hard to fight out of it. And I don't know where they're at in the process now, but it's one of those things where you got to do what you got to do. You got to be wise. You got to take care of your family. And sometimes it does take sacrifice, but you know, it's more important to give than to receive. It's more important to adorn yourself with humility and modesty, not just in your dress, but in your attitude, and your appearance should reflect your attitude, and vice versa.
Attitude reflect leadership.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain. What is that from?
Remember the Titans.
Okay, I think remember the Titans. But it's true though. But your attitude does reflect a lot of things, but I think we also cannot not say this, or the fact of the Bible says and Jesus says, you can only serve one master, God or money. So who are you going to serve?
Right.
Choose you this day who you're going to serve.
Right.
And I think for us living in a westernized world, especially now for me as a freelancer who I get paid the work I output.
Sure.
You know, it's very easy for me to chase that money and chase those paychecks and do those different things. But then the question is at what cost?
Yeah.
And am I trying to do this to live a certain lifestyle?
Right. You could easily neglect your family
100%.
to make more money. But is that the right thing to do? No, which is why you don't do it.
And Beth will never let me. So, and that's what that checks and balances come in. So this whole idea, going back to like how bougie's too bougie, can Christians be bougie? I think it goes back to no.
No, you can't be bougie.
Like you cannot, like you shouldn't, you
but
should
you can be
not.
semi-boozy.
Thank you. Gucci on a Walmart budget, baby. But I do think there's something to be said, though, about the fact of it's not just, having money. It's not just having a phenomenal job and literally making six figures. Like, that's not the problem. That's not the sin. It's living yourself in such a way where you're trying to say, look at me and all the crap and the car and the house and the swag and the shirt and the shoes and the watch and the this and the that. And it's
the
like,
sneakers.
Man, y'all see Yeezy got dropped by Adidas? Because just stop interviewing Kanye. But seriously, like, why do you need a pair of Yeezys that cost thousands of dollars that look like crap? And it's because the answer is simple: social status.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Some people tracking with me, but it's like, why are you doing what you're doing? Do you really need the Louis Vuitton, or can you settle with like some Champion brand?
I love me some Champion. It's comfortable.
You do love yourself some Champion. I love me
Champion.
Adidas because they comfortable and they're not that expensive.
Just like I love
it's all relative.
Airwalks. You remember Airwalks, the shoes?
Oh yeah, dude. Actually,
they're like stepping on a pillow. They were
I never wore 'em.
They were $20 at Walmart. They were so comfortable.
Heavy as crap too, though.
Well, they were skater shoes.
There's a dude wearing Heelys at Advanced Auto the other day. By the way,
What?
a worker.
I forgot about Heelys.
He was Heelying through. I'm like, dude, you're gonna trip over some oil and die. But either way, so can Christians be bougie? I think it's literally you have to do a heart check, an evaluation check, and a motive check. And a lot of times asking the question of where am I putting my money? And is it following who I serve?
And I would say...
I'm going to stop talking because I can talk all night.
And I would say, can you be bougie? No, because it does not reflect the same heart as Christ. And that's where I'm going to leave that.
I like it.
So you can do whatever you want now.
I can do whatever.
I've landed the plane for me.
I'm going to finish off with a verse.
All right, go for it.
1 John 2:16, we already read it once. It says, for all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, and the pride and possessions, also, King Jimmy, pride of life is how that is not from the Father, but it is from the world.
Time for Fun Facts with Filler.
I'm still sitting on this really tall wood chair. I've been sitting on it for like 3 hours, and
How's your butt feeling?
I'm sore, man. Especially after sitting all day. No, it's not feeling bougie at all. I want to be in a sits bath because that is bougie.
What?
A sits bath. It's like it's what the people did at horseback riding. That it was literally just a little bath for your butt. You never heard of a sits bath?
No.
Dude, go to Studebaker Museum, Oliver Mansion, all those places here in South Bend. And you're like, what's that little toilet? Is that for pooping? No, that's a sits bath. And look, you fill it up just for you to put your butt in the water and for it to it's like when you put your feet like in water for like a foot massage.
Why can't you? I
don't know, man.
Wrong.
Sits bath. It just be what it be because people was bougie back in the day.
All right, the fun fact of the day.
Fun fact. Let's finish the episode because
Just gotta get out of this.
If people are still listening at this point, good for you guys.
They already tuned out with the bougie test.
Thank you for being awesome. All right, dude.
Anyways,
what's the fun fact to end the show today?
The fun fact of the day is if it takes you a while to fall asleep at night, then you may not be too pleased to discover that most people are able to fall asleep in just 7 minutes.
Oh, I can beat that.
Maybe it's time to start counting those sheep again. I could fall asleep in about 30 seconds.
Let's say, are you one of those guys where it's like your head hits the pillow and you're
Instantly
out? Can Janelle do that though?
No,
or she get really angry at you
She's
when
one of
you do
those
it?
people that cannot fall asleep for like half hour, 45 minutes, hour, and just lays in bed.
See,
And I'm like,
I have triggers that I can do to make myself fall asleep. Like I put on Madam Secretary or something like that.
It doesn't matter. I could drink a whole pot of coffee and I go to sleep. And then I wake up with an anxiety attack, but that's about it.
But
I will go to sleep, though.
You will go to sleep?
Every time.
Oh, see, I'm getting too old for that. I can't drink coffee past certain times anymore. So tonight I will be awake for a little bit. But either way, guys, let's end this episode just like always. Feel free to reach out to us over at Instagram, Facebook, Real Talk Christian Podcast, or at our email, realtalkchristianpodcast@gmail.com, or head over to the website where you can learn more about us as the wonderful hosts of the Real Talk Christian Podcast. You can also sign up for the Advent devotionals that will come to your email once a week. And if you signed up for that and maybe you've missed one or two or three, just let us know, and we will send you those devotionals in your own email, separate email.
And don't forget to head over to YouTube if you haven't already and hit that subscribe button and that little bell notification.
Ding.
So that we can bring more bougie to you.
Or just decent content. Maybe just decent content.
Or that.
It's almost Christmas season, though, guys. And so we are so thankful that you've been hanging out with us. Many of you guys have been hanging out with us for well over 3 years. We have a whole lot more content for you guys with RTC going into the year 2023. Who knew we were going to make it this far, buddy?
It's been a while.
I don't
been a
even
wild
know, man.
ride.
But if you have any questions you would like us to answer leading up to 2023, we are taking your requests now. So send in those recommendations via the Facebook group or just Facebook, Instagram, or at Real Talk Christian Podcast at gmail.com. Anything else before we send these lovely people on their way?
No, sir.
Good. I'm losing my voice because this is episode 3 of the night.
Right.
So should we just end it?
Let's end it.
Cool beans, man. Well, hey, guys, until next time.
Take it easy.